Hi everyone, it's Don from Don's Family Vacation, and today I'm going to talk about 10 things that can get you kicked off a cruise ship. Now, some of them shouldn't be surprising, but a few of them might be, and in case you're wondering, cruise lines let you get away with quite a bit. But sometimes they're going to lay down the law, and that means you're getting off the ship, and I'm going to tell you some of the 10 ways that can happen right after this. Number one, getting sick on your cruise. And we're not talking the sniffles. We're talking something serious like you fall downstairs, you have a minor heart attack or a stroke, or you come down with something highly contagious. All of these things, the doctors and the staff on a cruise ship can be fantastic to look after you, but they're not a hospital. They're not equipped to give you, a surgery if you needed a surgery or something like that. They don't have an entire pharmacy at their disposal like you would at a hospital. So having contagious or coming down with some kind of serious injury, that's enough to get you off the ship. And let's hope you have insurance, because getting sick isn't going to get you a refund. Number two, a lot of people don't believe this, but it happens more often than you think. And that is skipping the muster drill. Now, if you don't know, if you haven't been cruising before, a muster drill is that emergency drill they do in front of lifeboats, or they'll put you into a room and they'll discuss the safety things that you need to know and the places you need to go if something happens drastic on the ship. If you need to abandon ship, what's your lifeboat? You just don't run any lifeboat. You go to your assigned state lifeboat. So skipping a muster drill is very much frowned upon, shall we say. And if you skip it, the cruise line has the right to kick you off the ship, because legally they're not supposed to set sail until every single person has done the muster drill. And if you can't be bothered to go, everyone knows it's there. It's announced numerous times before it happens. And if you can't be bothered, that can get you off the ship. And if you don't believe me, I know a couple just about a month and a half ago that got kicked off the Seabourn because they were on back-to-back cruises. And on the second half, from one ship to another ship, they decided, well, we already took the muster drill on the first cruise. We don't need to take it on the second cruise. They were right. They didn't need to take it because they were kicked off the ship. Number three, bringing any illegal item onto the cruise ship. That can range anything from drugs to banned items like ivory and stuff like that if you happen to be coming from Africa. Any of these things discovered on your luggage or in your room will, pretty much immediately get you kicked right off the cruise. Number four. This kind of goes with number three, because what you see a lot of times is you're going to see these people arguing about going through scanners or screening at the security while going onto a cruise, or getting back on a ship if they're under suspicion for some reason. And 9 times out of 10, or even 99 times out of 100, it's because they're hiding something that they don't want to get discovered. Because really, walking through an x-ray machine, is it really that much of a pain going onto a cruise ship and arguing about your rights and everything while you're doing it? That's just drawing more suspicion on yourself. And refusing to go through any kind of security check or any kind of screening will immediately stop you from getting on that cruise ship. Number five, if you're still doing this in this day and age with everything that's going on in the world, especially in North America, saying the word bomb in any kind of, even as a joke, somebody's searching through they ask you to open up your luggage at the security check going on to the cruise, and you say, what, you think I have a bomb on there? Yeah, you're heading right into for investigation the minute you say something stupid like that. That goes for airlines, that goes anywhere nowadays. And I see and I hear from people I know in the cruise industry and the security and everything that this happens way more often nowadays than you think it would. And what are you thinking? And if you're running almost to the point where the cruise is taking off, and you say something stupid like, what do you think, there's a bomb in my suitcase, and you get thrown into interrogation, and you miss the ship, you're just not getting on the ship. It's your own fault. And yeah, so nowadays, think before you say something really dumb like that. Number 6, having your travel documents and your medical documents have errors on them. So you filled out the incorrect spelling of a name, for instance, of one of your guests. Your visa is, when you're cruising, anytime you leave the country, your travel documents need to be within 6 months of the time you're leaving. And having all those kind of things not match up will either get you, if you're lucky, they'll let you in, but very, very rarely, because they don't want to be bothered with the hassle of trying to fix things like that, especially when it's not the cruise line fault, it's your fault for not having your documentation ready. So that's one of the things I like about people who use travel agents, is because the travel agent will let you know every single thing you need to do, and if you have any questions you can ask them and they will know what you need. Because let's face it, you're taking a cruise through Singapore and through Japan or through Africa or Norway, you don't know the rules, you don't know the regulations, you don't know what kind of medical things you need, you don't need to know what shots you need, but a travel agent would. And if they don't, they'll look it up for you. So don't have your documents have any kind of errors, and make sure they're all up to date, especially with vaccines and your passport. Number 7, using your drink package or buying a minor a drink on a cruise. You're out celebrating with your family, drinking age is 21, you're with your son who's 20, you hand him a beer, what the heck, and you get noticed by the ship security. That can get you kicked off the ship because it's an illegal activity, and they sometimes have no choice but to report it and then get you off the ship because it's a criminal activity. So sometimes it's a hard and fast rule, and it might seem harmless to you, but cruise lines have to follow the regulations that the law sets out. Number 8, disorderly conduct. And that can range from everything. You don't necessarily need to be a person who's arguing and stuff like that all the time. For instance, I saw once on a cruise, I was on doing just a ship inspection, where I was allowed to go on and take pictures and investigate the ship before the ship set sail. And while I was doing this, one of the first, I'd say 100 passengers got on was this young guy about 21, 22 years old, and he was, I guess, on his first cruise. He was in a good mood and looking to have a good time, and he went straight to the bar. And I continued around and did some tours and did some pictures and everything, and when I came back to the pool area, he was there. And as I arrived, I see all these people kind of looking away and what the heck is going on. And apparently this guy had downed about 8 drinks in about an hour, was completely hammered, took off all his clothes, and was jumping up and down on the diving board in front of all the kids and the people around the pool. And needless to say, his entire cruise lasted about an hour and a half, and he was escorted off the ship. So yeah, disorderly conduct where you're causing problems for the rest of the passengers is going to get you kicked off the ship. Number 9, believe it or not, this happens. People who try and advertise on the cruise by putting up flyers and posters that they bring with them about how they've got a tour in, say, Freeport, Bahamas, and they're organizing it, and it's half the price of the cruise line's tour. And if you have any questions and you want to book it, just come to my cabin and book it with me. Well, the cruise line considers that, first of all, you're not a signature shore excursion. They don't know whether you're, have any ill will towards the passengers. For all they know, you're going to put them on a bus, bring them out someplace, and now they're being held ransom. So ransom. So they don't know what's going on. They don't know if you're going to rob people, and they're not going to allow you, because people will see flyers up there and think it's part of the cruise line's shore excursions. So if they see that, their next knock on your door is not going to be somebody asking, hey, can I go on that shore excursion? It's going to be about 6 or 7 security officers kicking you off the ship. Number 10 is another criminal activity, stealing something from the ship. And it doesn't have to be in the shops. It can be, I've seen people steal life buoys that were hanging on deck. I've seen people steal shuffleboard paddles. You'd be surprised what people just think they can take. And yeah, stealing anything on a ship, including anything in the shops. I've seen people get kicked off a $4,000 cruise because they tried to steal a $50 bottle of perfume. What the heck, people? If you can afford $4,000 on a cruise, I'm pretty sure you can afford the $50 for a bottle of perfume. But that gets you immediately kicked off the ship, and usually there's police officers sitting there waiting for you to place you under arrest and charge you. Number 11, and this goes for a lot of hotels and Disney and every place like that nowadays, is being abusive to the captain or the crew or the staff of the cruise ship. And yeah, you'd be surprised how people belittle and berate people sometimes, especially the people doing like servicing or people changing the sheets in the staterooms and stuff like that. I have seen some horrible behavior of people just treating people like they're third-class citizens and don't deserve to lick the boots of the person yelling at them. And it drives me absolutely nuts. So when I see this happening, I report it right away, because sometimes the cruise staff won't say anything because they don't want to cause trouble. They don't want to have anyone look at them as if maybe they're causing the trouble instead of the guest. But if I see it and I can tell that guy's just a jerk, I'm going to tell somebody. And yeah, I have no bad feelings about somebody like that getting kicked off the cruise because they're a complete jerk to other people on the cruise, especially the staff. It's okay to be upset about something, but you don't have to be a jerk. The person sitting at the desk is not the person at fault for whatever's going on your cruise. So there you go. There's 11 things that can get you kicked off a cruise, or even stop you from getting on the cruise before it even starts. Some of them are pretty straightforward, and some of them, yeah. Who organizes a shore excursion and advertises it on the boat and thinks that the cruise line's going to be okay with that? Funny things that happen, but things that go through people's minds are sometimes really crazy. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more travel videos and more hints and tips about cruising, please hit the subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a great vacation.